veterans of war, veterans of combat, veterans of knowledge. That is the best way I feel you can describe two of the combatants in today's versus battle. So everybody, it's King here. Welcome back to another form of versus battle video. In today's video, as you see by the title and obviously on the thumbnail and makes it on screen, I'm having Morgott, the Omen King, twin brother to Morg, the Lord of Blood, little brother to Godwin the Golden, one of the greatest form of representations of what it means to be a person, regardless of how much his success is, never finds any glory in it. Versus Conquest, the sadistic, brutal, ruthless, crazed, callous, mean vato of the Viltrumite Empire. Two people who, because of all their glorious success, have unfortunately not gained anything of greater might because of it. The graceless, great demigod of the Golden Order, Morgott, who, like his older brother Godwin, had great stand in being a revered king that stood tall in the midst of things. But unlike his older brother, where he was glorious till death even, he unfortunately could not succumb to actually greatness, and unfortunately succumb to unfortunate envy and down form of every glory that he had in the end by unfortunately our main character, the Tarnished. Versus Conquest, a man that is so good at being an enforcer and bullier of planets, pillagers of planets, right, that he is literally given a name that defies literally the humanity that could be ever possibly blessed within him. A man that is so great, his success scars him with nothing but doubt and depression for what's to come beyond, pillaging and laying nothing but devastation upon planets. Regardless of how you see what is being said, these are two interesting form of people that I feel like are very underrated, underappreciated, underlooked. But regardless of how you see it, I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let's go and get it in.
Graceless, tarnished. What is thy business with these thrones? Godric the Golden. The twin prodigies, Mikola and Melania. General Radahn. Praetor Rykard. Lunar Princess Rani. Willful traitors, all. Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Have it writ upon thy meager grave. Felled by King Morgott, last of all kings.
Omen born, son of Godfrey and Queen Marika. Staying by a curse he can never halter, he can never push past. As an omen, he is the black sheep of the lands between, just like his twin brother, Morg, the Lord of Blood, I talked about before. He is the little brother, just like Morg, to Godwin, firstborn, arguable demigod, next to Mesmer. And what is being said, Morgott, because of his demigod genes and what he is as a omen and even as just a demigod, what is being said, he is a very credible and very crazy warrior. Because of his demigod genes and his bloodline and the accolades that he later on does, he is one of the most tenacious, very efficient, resilient, and very resourceful demigods of the entirety of the lands between. But when it comes down to the case for his actual, regard of efficiency, zealous standing as a beast, and or very crazy built different regard of being in the lands between, this would make him, just like others, be very high end, shown like in the case of my Elden Ring power scale and tier list, shameless plug. But to kind of go about greater explaining, first of all, what an omen is a vile creature turned into place either by being mix of human or being something tied to the greater will or the cursed will that makes things just happen out of random, because obviously Morgott and Mo are not obviously children to omens, but because of the fact that their father is Godfrey, mixed with their mother being Queen America, and possibly having great legacy of all different mixed regard, because they got someone like Godric who wasn't always the way he looks, but as an example, and even the fella, if you think she's related to Godfrey. But besides that, not to steer off course, when it comes down to the power scale and accolades, this man, Morgott, when it came for the eventual invasion of Lindale, as he's been the Lord of Lindale for years on end, he was prepared after honing his skills for years on end, taking possibly some lessons from his father when they could visit him and his brother in the sewers, and went about being able to rock with this man, Star Scourge Radahn, even when he was accounted to be the Star Scourge in the end, when it came down to the case of not just his legacy and what his statements and or case of reveredness he has done at the time, aka with Star Scourge Radahn already being famed to be the red famed Lion of Caelid, King of the Battlefield's Lion, being the Star Scourge, and knowing the fact that this man, Star Scourge Radahn, crushed and shattered stars and is able to pull from stars and do all different crazy case stuff, and defeating people that are able to make nebulas and pull all these different crazy interesting feats. This would reasonably get him to be multi-solar system plus, and or pretty higher end to multi-solar system if you want to go about greater stretch. At bare minimum, he would be that. What really puts him at the highest regard, right, is not only the fact that he pushed back Radahn and mixed bag, defeated him, even though I feel like if he actually full could have defeated Radahn, he would have killed him. I would like said it, they just stalemate, aka drawed. He pushed him back with all his red main soldiers at the Shattering Veteran, right? But when it comes down to, things that put him on a high regard, not just from facing him at a decent matter and other shit, and also being said to be a very high mixed skilled and scalable person, is the fact that he's stronger than Ronnie, who's able to create a universal pocket dimension, right? And you have to be stronger than her magic in her case of shit to go about breaking through this big ass pocket dimension and other assortment of different magic. So I like to say that reasonably he should be stronger, tied with the fact that Radahn is stronger than Ronnie. So I'm not surprised with that being said. So yeah, that would reasonably would get him from multi-solar system plus to universal. When it comes down to speed though, because of obviously what Radahn has done, this will reasonably get him to be multiple times faster than the speed of light, to hundreds to millions of times ridiculously. When it comes down to skill, he's a very skilled, acrobatic, dynamic, splitting edge warrior on some Jetstream Sam level timing, with having a lot of crazy case of magic from holy, from blood magic, from different magic, a different assortment of that similar case. He has the capability to be able to bang out with the tarnish, not actually in scalable sense, but bang out with the tarnish in a way that's very swift, very cartwheely, ridiculously agile, crazy, right? And the fact that he has blood magic and different holy stinging gray A usages of magic, this reasonably should get him to the capability of being able to not necessarily durability negate people, but to be able to open people up to a lot more of an easy regard to some other people, aka he uses a lot of the most revered, efficient, blow dealers in a lot of different occasions when it comes down to fighting, as he's able to set up a lot of different interesting maneuvers and or occasions of that same sort, where he's able to simply mix people up with a lot of grade A pressure, as shown in this boss fight. Through his holy magic, he's able to summon multiple different things, hammers, daggers, create a big ass spear, create an X factor of swords. For his own blood, he's able to cause a whole sewage drain of all different type of shit that allows him to go ahead and be able to cause causality manipulation, refining the form of bubbling explosion, pull a lot of hacks because of that. And it's just a very crazy, versatile warrior all around. And yeah, that is Morgott, the Omen King of Elden Ring. Time to go and talk about the Great Conquest. Hailing from the planet Viltrum, Conquest is one of the oldest Viltrumites on the planet. We do not know how old he exactly is. He's obviously way out of the league of most people in age. If I had to guess, he's definitely like second to possibly the oldest, next to the great Emperor Argol, even though he is the father of Omni-Man, grandfather of Mark and Oliver. the fact is that obviously we don't have a confirmed age. I would like to guess, because they're accounting that like Anissa, Omni-Man are like what, thousands, 2000s of sun years old. He's definitely probably that. Regardless of how old he is, Conquest is easily accounted to be the second strongest in physical might. Viltrumite, who is ridiculous, built different, case of regard of dude, was sent out to be the most legendary Big Brock fodderer and enforcer of multiple people, right? Putting multiple people under his boot heel and stamping his foot down full properly multiple times on the people that would needed to be wiped out under Viltrumite decree. And even though was definitely not the most, mentally sound dude out of all these people, as Conquest is a very cocky, mean, violating, full-fledged, sadistic, crazed Vato. My man moves like Chris Walker from Outlast. He definitely is, without a doubt, no exception of the way, a demon of all different ridiculous regard, who lives for the kill of every person and doesn't care about all the different ethics and ideals of Viltrumite custom. When it comes down to his actual power scale and hell, to me, I think he's pretty up there across multiple boards, even though I don't agree with every matter for, my tier list of All Invincible. If you would like me to maybe recreate it or give a full, deep kind of debunk or reevaluation of it, I am willing to. I do agree with the sentiment that even though Conquest is very powerful, there are people that outrank him in actual class and or have mixed better accolades or mixed perception to say that they are over another in comparison. With this being said, someone like Conquest has been seen multiple times to be physically, without a doubt, next to Thrag, even though Thrag has a lot of capabilities that put him of a higher regard than obviously Conquest, to be without a doubt the strongest of almost all of everybody, when it comes down to the race. But people like General Craig, who, if we go after, Thrag's whole mindset for the culling of the strongest of the strong of Viltrumites, and who puts in the best work of this and this matter of shit, that would reasonably substantiate the record for him being possibly stronger than him in some aspects, regardless of being strategical might, precision, and fighting caliber, or other boasts of that same sense. That also goes for, different people's mindsets, like Chuck the Cybercock, who believes that, there's reasonable accolades to say that Anissa and others are stronger than him. There's also just the fact of how most different people, like Omni-Man, aka the Great Nolan, is compared to him, even if Conquest was very sure about killing him and doing all that, because of Conquest's hubris, cockiness, being literally a spectator in his own fight, in context of like him literally getting choked out by Mark. He literally couldn't breathe, and he only got that dub because of adrenaline boost and mix, if you want to stretch plot armor on his side. So there's a lot of context for why Conquest either loses or has bad showcasings, regardless of its cockiness, being caught off guard, or very conventional things that are not self-direct, shining of greater boast of fighting caliber, or credit of actual strength and paw for paw, bang for bang, pit for pit perspective, and like of actual means of like going against somebody else. There is always still, again, reasonable strike of the fact that this man Conquest is so much more higher boast than these other people, that regardless of the circumstance that gets them to be where they are later on, if they were fighting in a one-on-one, going full out general conviction, and most of the time, even if he was a spectator in this fight, he would best these people, he would still be ridiculously beyond them. So again, regardless of the matter for how you want to go about these in case of means, right, for this perspective, right, there's reasonableness to say that easily Conquest is over them. And what this would really mean is, by all the scaling presented in comparison, that Conquest would be going from being a multi-continental to moon character at low end, scaling over different feats involving like a meteor the size of Texas, the capability to put a whole big ass fucking line of the moon apart, and same time causing multiple different form of blows and devastating run of all type of fuck shit, like on the planet Flaxen, where Omni-Man performed his iconic case of full Blacker Force energy feat. There's also multi different array of shit that would get, the Viltrumites, not just in the case of the show, but also in the case of the comics, which is what we're obviously talking about. I'm just mentioning from, feats of an upscale mixed mention that considerably could happen in the comics, because, this is stellar shit as adaptation, right? It's kind of like, pretty consistent there, but in actuality, because of the scaling, provided in mixture of, the shit that makes, the case for the Viltrumites very powerful and ridiculous in all different regards, is the fact that Conquest will go over a great regard of motherfuckers when it comes down to the case of the iconic explosion devastating feat of Viltrum. Now granted, there is a lot, and I repeat, a lot of context to the explosion of Viltrum, but the thing is that in the explosion of Viltrum, there's a lot of showing of not just from that feat and scaling to 1/3 the explosion, but also to mix other characters that are said to be planet wipers or planet destroyers, which is, a very broad statement. Yes, I would say that there's a good argument to say that Conquest is at least pushing from like Moon +2 planetary at a decent regard, and because he is considered to be the second strongest Viltrumite, which we don't know how much greater stand that is, because again there's a lot of debate about that, regardless of that just being physical or actual comparativism to other people. It's reasonably should get him to a good small planet plus. When it comes down to speed, because of him scaling to Mark, Omni-Man over a lot of different people, fighting them in big regard in space, and the fact that Omni-Man pulled a feat that would have him go from his galaxy to almost 2 galaxies over in a very short amount of time, correct me if I'm wrong, this would reasonably get him reasonable instantiation to being multiple times massively faster than light, to easily in the millions regards. It's not even funny with how much he can do. I talked about Conquest before on this channel in Equal Stats video against Roku, but a big thing that helps him out is the fact that he is a Viltrumite. He has super atoms, he has super strength, super speed, super reflexes, a very great durable hide of skin. Healing factor is very adaptive when it comes down to just his skin, and is a great beast, big Brock, wrathful cruiser of a dude that really just throws around a great deal of his slugging, gray area strength and speed and prowess. But because of his age mixed with experience, there's reasonable substantiation to say that he is very much one of the most experienced and elite form of Viltrumites when it comes down to those accolades. But regardless of that, it's even obvious with all the scaling put into perspective, this man Conquest, regardless if you think he arguably is more faster than Morgott, is not even the same league. Okay, first of all, Morgott is obviously way more physically stronger. Morgott has the better hacks, better skill, better capabilities, and his experience, and the type of shit that he's shown, and the amount of time and play of also, strategic and efficient regard of being a great expertise demon time mode with people, and the type of plays and shit that he can pull, especially what his magic can do, which is able not just to do different mixture of different causality or weapon mix up mastery. He can create illusions like with his Godfrey shit, create clones multiple times, boundaries. He's very actually crazy and versatile with it, and that would just outdo anything that Conquest could imagine. Conquest has never faced magic or anything of this sort, so this would be a big trip for him. Tied with the fact that Morgott just has a lot more sessionable crazy matter of shit that I feel like, regardless if you think that Conquest is more faster, which I think is a mixed bag arguable, right? Not too distinctly, again, depending on how you perceive it, but would be a little bit more when actually pushing after him, aka flying, actually more having the audacity to just ooze more speed precision than what he can comprehend. That would still, again, not matter because Morgott is way more durable than him. So in conclusion, Morgott would fauterize and destroy this man Conquest. Even if you want to go and talk about equal stats, it would just home the fact of the matter that Morgott, again, because of his skill, hacks, capabilities, experience, arguable better accolades of standing toe to toe, bang for bang against multiple people and in multiple form of odd setting, standing way more good ground than this man Conquest. His Conquest is just a bully that bests a lot of people dummy demonstrably weaker than him, while this man Morgott has a lot of scaling chain to a lot of high different regard people, and same time putting a lot of work to be where he's at. So that to me, just slates him easily as being stronger than Conquest with no actual challenge to be had. But that's just me though. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Let me know more verse battles you guys want. I appreciate the support and letter you guys have given to me. Go and support all the different cases, the videos that I have if you want more. And regardless if you are new or not, what I'm saying, I appreciate you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever what is being said. I love y'all. I can't wait to go see you guys in the next one. Peace out, mom.
Watch me,
I feel like this is the one. Gone! Big dub! I finally have done it. After months of getting my ass beat, training, looking up guides, seeing other people have faced this, man. This nigga not even disintegrated, but taste my metal nut.